Hi, and welcome back to Wildman Wheels. Today's project, we gotta get this shop, what do the kids say, glowed up. She doesn't have any Riz or something. So I went out and spent $1,500, and this is what I got to show for it. This right here was, 300 of it. Today, we're gonna be diving into lights. Right now, the shop only has 4 lights. And of the 4 lights, we have 1.5 lights working. And they're the old school, fluorescent type lights, which are, that was great technology back in 1945 or 7 or whatever. But today we got the old LED lights, the LEDs, These things are supposed to last for like 45 years. 8,000 lumens each. We're gonna have almost 50,000 lumens in here. I don't even know. What do fluorescent lights put? They don't put out 50,000 lumens, I can tell you that much right now. But we got lights, and that's what we're gonna be starting there with lights. The second thing we're gonna be doing, we're gonna be adding in a new 220 outlet. We got our box and we got all of our stuff. We're gonna be running from the circuit breaker panel. We're gonna be running from the panel over here, running it all the way over to the CNC plasma cutter. So that way I can run the air compressor and the plasma cutter at the same time. It'll be great. We got a new 50 amp circuit breaker for that. That's on its own circuit breaker currently, so we'll have 2 separate circuits. That'll work great. We got all the bits and bobs and accoutrements for that. We also have the wire right here because we're gonna be adding 2 additional lights into our lighting situation over there. We're gonna be painting. Yeah. Because this is pretty bad. It's just, ridiculous. So I went out and I bought some 12-inch wide shelving material, just the cheapest stuff I could get there at the Home Depot. We also got these guys right here, these little, brackets. We'll be running these dudes all the way down the wall. It only came in 6-foot lengths. I went ahead and grabbed 3 of those. So we got 18 feet of shelf that we're gonna be able to run all the way across here. And then hopefully, with it being a foot deep, I'll be able to do more than just, like 1 row of cans, be able to actually, put stuff up there and have it semi-organized and actually have maybe some extra space. Most of the stuff that's on the workbench right now is actually stuff that's, random nuts and bolts. We got drill bits and drills and oils and things that need to be put onto a shelf because you need them, but you don't want them on the work. That's But before we put the shelf up, we're gonna be painting. We're gonna be painting this entire wall so it doesn't look like, just some plywood. So it actually looks, kind of good. I even have some decor that I'm gonna be putting on the wall. Try to make it look like a shop or something. I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you what color we're painting it. You're gonna have to hang on and wait for that. I also went and got me some new filters because by the time we were done with the Pug, I don't know if you remember, but we did a lot of fiberglass and paint and sanding and rust, and they're plugged up, they're nasty. So we got some new ones of those. We got the paint, we got the shelves, we got the brackets, we got the wire, we got the circuit breakers, we got the connectors, we got the doodabs and the doohickey-mabobs. Oh, we even got some conduit, so we can hook all the things up. So I even went out and rented a really, really tall ladder because I don't have one. And they're really ridiculously expensive to buy. I don't want to buy one if I can rent one for 22 bucks. I mean, come on. It's just... So let's get started. We're going to start on the lights. I'm going to take this light down, install a new light, and then install a new light over there. And then, take that one down. We're just going to... Let's get started. We got stuff to do. Well, perfect. That's not weeble wobbly at all. Oh, there's spillets and flat. Who does that? "45 feet long. Holy cow. Or is it stripped? That's stripped. Okay, we should use a drill for the rest of these. Power tools. Make this go faster. That guy there. And that guy there. As soon as we can get the one size bigger, take that guy off, and you know, to the ground she goes. Yatsa! One down, 14 to go. I think. Something like that. Wow. We even got destructions. So there's the inside of it. You can see we got our LED lights, just a couple strips, 4 strips in there, which is impressive. There's your little ballast there. We got these guys here. So I'm gonna run up there and I'm gonna throw this guy up. But first we need to pop out this guy here. This is the one from the old light. Stick you right in there, like so. We'll run the wires through, pull that into the conduit, get that jammed in, let the wires dangle, run a couple self-tappers, get this just physically mounted. And then once that, we hook up the wires, we put our little runner trim piece in there, and then we can clip the thing on. And then I kind of want to just, you know, just turn the one on and just see what does it look like with working lights. Stay. Get some wires hooked up here real quick, and this thing all back together. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna be using a Millennial's favorite tool. Wago plugs. Why? Because it requires no tools to use. Used them before, had great success with them. They're actually relatively inexpensive. Are they as cheap as wire nuts? No. Do you like hair? Also, no. And for low load things like LED lights, I think they're just fine. It's on there.
Today's Bible verse, Ephesians 3:20 and 21. Now all glory to God, who is able through his mighty power at work within us to accomplish infinitely more than we might ask or think. Glory to him in the church and in Christ Jesus through all generations, forever and ever. Amen.
Through the magic of time lapse, we've ran our outlets. I didn't math properly, and I assumed that you could daisy chain the 220 outlets, and I was going to have this 220 outlet and then just daisy chain it on over by the plasma cutter there, but realized you can't do that. They don't make, adapter plates for those. So we had to just, run two separate branches, which means that that's, about 10 feet short where I'd really like for it to be, but hey, it is what it is. I can use the extension cord to go from that outlet to there. It'll work for now. It'll be fine. And then, but the biggest thing is now the plasma cutter and the air compressor on two separate circuits. So I'll be able to run the plasma cutter and the air compressor at the same time without worrying about blowing circuit breakers, and actually run the plasma cutter and use it for projects. Cool. Okay, so the next thing we gotta do, we gotta paint, which means I gotta strip this entire wall. Everything's gotta come off the wall. Everything's gotta come off the workbench. We gotta tape stuff off, and we gotta make it look good. There's like 475 screws that are just randomly everywhere on the wall because I think the guy just, hey, I wanna hang this right here. Yep, threw a screw in. So I'm gonna remove all of those. I'm gonna take everything off the shelves, pile it in places. And then we're gonna go through and like I'm gonna mask off, this guy. I don't wanna paint the face of this, but I will paint all the way around it. And then mask off the receptacles, and then we're gonna, the workbench, I don't wanna paint the workbench. And then we'll start painting. So let's get going with that. That's the next stage in this game. So there's multiple ways that you can paint. You can use the paint roller, these guys right here. It's kind of, a paintbrush, the traditional ways. But if you've ever used one of these guys, one of these Wagner, electric, paint sprayer things, these things rock. They are absolutely awesome. They work super great. They're a little spendy. Sometimes you can pick them up used. Sometimes you can pick them up used and people say, oh, they don't work. The reason why they don't work is because the innards are plugged with paint. So that's the biggest thing. You have to be really, really, really good at cleaning all of the paint out of these things. A lot of times people use them, they don't clean them that well or that great, and then it doesn't work. And then they're like, well, this thing's junk. So you can pick these up that don't work. Just make sure you turn it on. So basically how it works, there's a fan back here and it blows air, and so it's still air paint spraying, but you got a fan built into it. So as long as the fan turns on and blows air, you feel air blowing out of here, it's fine. This up here just needs to be cleaned. Just take it, just clean it, and it'll work great. So I've used this to paint several rooms in my house. And it's worked great every time. The big thing that you got to do is you do have to thin the paint down a little bit, so you got to add some water to it, which is it's not that bad. And you can kind of play with it a little bit and figure out how much water do you need to add. 2, 3, 4 ounces of water. Mix it really well so it's all mixed in there nicely, and then just start painting. It works great. So that's what I'm gonna be using today to paint this wall. Now I could have gone 14 different ways, right? We could have cleaned it and applied a primer to it and did all that. We could have, sure, but it's a shop. We're painting a shop wall, so it's not wood color, basically. So I'm not too worried about all that. We're not gonna get crazy with it. It's a shop. We're just gonna paint the shop wall. So let's get this bad boy going. Look at that. Man, that was fast. Like real time, less than 10 minutes. The whole thing's painted. One of the difficult things with that particular paint sprayer is it does blow a lot of air. And so, as you can see, like when I was trying to paint up along the areas where I have it taped off, it was just blowing around. So I had to climb up on top of there and hold the paper down and then kind of spray at an angle to try not to get too much overspray. But this turned out great. Now we just got to wait for it to dry. Might need to hit a couple areas that might be a little bit lacking, but it's quick, it's easy. So I'm gonna go clean that because you got to clean it like right away while it's still wet. I'm gonna go get that cleaned. and let this dry. And I'm gonna eat some food because I'm starving. And then once this is dry, we're gonna come back. We're gonna get these shelves mounted on here. We're gonna go through all of this stuff and determine the things that need to be here and the shop, tools and whatnot, and things that need to not be in the shop. And we're gonna get that all put up there, and then we're gonna go ahead and decorate a little bit. And let's just get this place kind of cleaned up, make it look nice, We're stuck in here all day, might as well make it look nice. But I'm really excited about that. That's really, man, that's looking good. All right, I'll be back in a jiff. All right, look at this thing. Man, I really like it. I think it looks really, really good. And I realize now that we're gonna have to paint underneath there. That, you can totally see that. Let's get some shelves put up. We gotta get some proper shelves. The ones that were up there is ridiculous. Wow, this looks absolutely amazing. I love it. I love it. We got some old signs I had laying around. Went ahead and threw those guys up there. Adds a little excitement to it. We even glowed it up with some LED lights, for glowing things. I think it looks pretty good. What I like about this is I made the shelf nice. It's not too tall, so I can actually see without getting up on my tippy toes. I can actually see right to the back of the shelf. So you don't have to worry about stuff getting lost back there. I could see right to the back of the shelf. So this turned out great. I highly recommend any of you out there that are maybe thinking like, what color should I paint my garage? The flat black looks really, really good. I need to go ahead and paint the underneath side of this and probably paint the shelf or the workbench too. I won't paint the top of it because it'll just crack off and peel off, and it won't work out too well, but definitely the underneath side of it. I think that'll clean it up pretty nicely. We gotta go through. We got junk just laying everywhere. We gotta get rid of it. So I can't believe how well this turned out. It looks great. And when you use the air painter, you can paint metal, and it actually turns out good. I mean, look at that box over there. It's just perfectly smooth. There's no weird sheen to it, where if you try to hit it with a paintbrush or a roller, it'll leave streaks and it just doesn't look right. So that's kind of the nice thing. So you can paint all of the pipes, and we got all the junction boxes and everything like that painted, and it looks good. There's no streaks. So I highly recommend. If you need one of those, just do it. Just do it. Just get one. Pick one up that doesn't work, because it's just plugged with paint. Like I said, just make sure you plug it in, turn it on. If the little fan makes noise, you can clean it and it'll instantaneously work perfectly. So yeah, we've got some big projects. We got 2 big projects that we're starting this week. I mean, I'm starting this week. You'll see them next week. And I cannot be more excited about them. So this is what we got going on this week. I think it turned out great. I'm excited. It's always fun to, kind of glow it up a little bit, make it look nice, make it yours. So that's kind of what we did here. It looks good, and that means we're ready to start doing some projects. I can't wait for next week.